What if everything you have deemed as impossible really was possible? What have you known and believed was possible your whole life? You just didn't know how to actualize it. Come and discover a world of infinite possibilities on Outside the Impossible with Venus Castleberg. On this show, we will share pragmatic tools to create the life and living you truly desire. And now, your host, Venus Castleberg.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am really excited for today's guest. I have Francesca Fiorentini, and we are going to be talking about being with the earth. Welcome, Francesca.
Thank you, Venus. Welcome. Thank you for having me here, and hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm very excited, too. It's an amazing topic. Yeah.
So I just want to put this out there. If there's anybody out there listening and you have any questions at any time for Francesca, please feel free to call in to 202-570-7057. And we'll just go ahead and dive in. So Francesca, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, okay. I am, as you can hear, I'm Italian. And I grew up in an amazing city that is Venice, Italy. You know, that's like, it's a very unusual way to grow up, I will say, because it seems you are in a little Disneyland. And then, I mean, I'm in the year 1977. I have an amazing daughter that she's 23 years old, and almost 9 years ago, I came across the access consciousness tools that really, literally, like, changed all my life. Change it. Not because access consciousness change it. The tools that I use of access consciousness allow me to see a very different reality for myself. And so I basically turned all my life inside out. And starting from don't even have a credit cards and, you know, not be able to do a lot. And I've been choosing every day even greater. I separated from my ex-husband, and I started this new journey, this new amazing adventure. And I mean, at the moment, I'm the worldwide coordinator of access consciousness. And yesterday was interesting why we want to mention that, because, you know, like in this reality, whatever we desire to create, we need to prove a lot, right? We need to have the doing, the proving. Just right before we talk, you say, "Oh, are you busier with the COVID-19 than before?" Because I am. You ask me. I say, "Yes, I'm busy," but now there is a different way of creating for me. Before I was very, very, very much busier, like on doing on. And yesterday when I talked with Brandon Watt, he's one of the major facilitator in access consciousness. He told me, "Frenchie, whatever is going on in your life, whatever you have been creating, it was based on your being, what you be, not what you do. And of course you have done so much." But why I want to mention all of that? Because I've been struggling all life to show how much I was doing, and doing a lot, and sacrifice a lot. And I think that it's not just me, in a way and the other, like the fact that we fill our time with doing, because that's doing is quite comfy, you know. Even if it's struggling sometimes, even if it's tiring, but we recognize ourselves. And then what I want to talk today, since we are talking about this amazing topic, being with the earth, looking at embracing a little bit what you be and what we can be beyond the physical doing, beyond the what makes you, you know. It's a matter of recognizing a lot yourself, in a way, when you're doing. And now that I became the worldwide coordinator of access consciousness, it's more, for me, I've been training my muscle of awareness of what my attention is required. And I'm still doing, if it's required, still will be awake until 2 a.m. or meeting and stuff. It's not that I don't, but there is a different muscle. And one of the things I acknowledge as well, that wasn't nothing new. I was there before. So it's all this. And this is COVID-19 as well, in this amazing period. Amazing, I would say, because it's very struggling for people. And at the same time, I've been noticing so many new capacity, like people have been Also my colleagues, I don't know you, Venus, but they've been creating things that before they didn't have the time for, or they've been, looking at different areas of their life that they couldn't. And so in this time as well, how much more it's about as well being, that what if we could have a little bit of a time, and like how is being with the earth, of course, but how is for you being? So that's it. I know that I didn't really say a lot of myself, but that's basically what I am in this moment of life.
Well, you did say something that you said you created a different reality for yourself. Can you say a little bit more about that? Like, how can people know that that's a choice? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And creating a different life for myself was really, as you say, like looking at what choice could I don't know, do you hear a little bit of echoes? Just me. Just to be, anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I was, before, like everything we create in our life, that's one of the main thing I got with Access Consciousness, that nothing came, nothing happened to us. Everything, in a way or the other, we created. So we chose it. And I was in a pretty difficult situation at that moment. And not just not just financially, I was very much in an abuse relationship, and not at all freedom. And I was looking at myself like, if something doesn't change, I want to go. I don't know if I want to still live here, Never, like the amount of time I thought, I want to leave this planet. But then I didn't, because there was something, I knew that something else was possible. And then every time I was looking at my daughter, and at the time I had also 2 amazing dogs, they were always like bringing me on something different, like something else is possible. And then I was asking so much for finding a way, finding a solution, finding a, like the amazing recipes of your life, right? Give me the recipe, I will do it, I will make it, and then I will have an amazing result. But that doesn't really work like that. I tried those recipes. The cake never really came out of the oven in the way that I done, because it's not about recipes, right? Like, it's about your little choice after choice after choice that will create the future you desire. And also, with that, one of the things I've really been so, since the beginning, so grateful about the Access Consciousness tools, that there is no about blaming anyone else. Because if you keep being on the blaming, if you keep being on, that's not my fault because I'm in this situation, that will never change. I started introducing so much gratitude for everything was started coming, whatever happened to me. Also the abuse, doesn't matter, like everything. And that change, because gave me more like a new white canvas to say, oh, what do I want to paint here for my life? And then the choice was, okay, I'll stop with the abuse. Something that I thought I would never could chose. And because, when you are a little bit in your little jail that you've been creating, right? And you have a guardian too as well. That was what I felt. I couldn't. I was like, he will kill me, or something will happen, and I don't have money, everything. But then when I chose it, the funny part was that he couldn't even any longer raise his voice with me, because I chose it that you are not anymore on charge. I am in charge of my life now. So that's actually the difference. And one of the choice as well that's been the greatest as well is also maintaining the level of joy. So what I was looking as well, like what actually makes me joy, and couldn't really be like, I don't know, the smile of a kid, or having a walk, reading a book, everything that was making me joyful, I was keeping it alive, because that's, and I was asking for more of that. What else? Because that's, if you introduce more joy, and you actually are willing to be open to more of that, it's like all the very dark spots will be light up, you know. So that's what happened. And yeah, and also the choice. I was in a call with Simone Milasas, is the worldwide business coordinator, Access Consciousness, a bestseller writer and a great speaker, and as well as she started with a lot of depth in Access Consciousness. I didn't really have that. I didn't really have nothing. It was a similar situation, but then we were talking about a book that we just started, and if you, for example, if you are there listening and something there is in your life, and doesn't have to nothing to be changed, because most of the time, even if you are finding it great, what can you add to your life? But one of the things at the moment for me, that I didn't have the possibility to travel the world, to follow everyone, to join new courses, classes of self-development for myself. I was really using all the single free tools, or buying a book of $15, $25, and the Be a New Book with Dr. Dane here, or Money is Not the Problem, You Are. Those are two amazing books that I've been starting with. And reading them and using the tools, and not using money as a justification of not being able to create, that really, magically, I would love to have a little, how do you call it in English, the time machine that you could go back and see yourself. I would love to, because sometimes it's difficult to remind everything that happened,
Okay.
but there is something like it's not magical, but it's being magical in a way. Yeah.
It is time machine. It's you
Time
said
machine, should I say correctly?
Yep, you did. Awesome. Okay, so we have a caller, Joseph. Welcome.
Hello.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Joseph.
Hey, Francesca, how are you this morning?
I'm very good, thank you. You hear this my morning, 6 a.m.?
You know what? I heard that you woke up in the middle of the night just to talk to us. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your story. And I had a question that was something that actually came up earlier for me today. I've realized that I've spent my entire life trying to, find answers and create my life through doing. I was actually coaching someone here earlier today, and I realized that where she wasn't getting the result that she wanted in her work was because she wasn't asking the right questions. She wasn't really asking questions. She was trying to get answers. And then I realized in listening to what when you were sharing that there's a big difference, as I understand it, between creation through being or doing. Can you talk on that, like how to create the earth, our lives that we desire, really through that being, rather than force or doing, I guess, if they're the same thing.
Thank you for the question, Jason. It's really, really welcome. I love it. And also, just before I even mention the being, there is nothing bad about doing either, because it's like consciousness includes everything, judge nothing. Whenever we're judging something, we are rejecting it, right, and defend about it. So doing is required on creation as well.
Okay.
The only thing is that it's really it's if you're a builder, right, you need to do a little bit of taking the bricks to build a house. Otherwise, maybe one day we will have the magic, touch to create it. But so it's fine. I am a big doer too. I love doing too. Then, one of the things I was mentioning about being creation in being, it's because when you use the doing as a distraction, as to fill in all the time, all the space in your day, and to don't allow you to create in a moment of relaxation as well. That doesn't have to be hours, can be 10 minutes, but it's also like embracing, like, for me, like creation in being, it's really be willing to be connected with anything and everyone. And that's sometimes it's not, at the beginning wasn't even super easy, because I could perceive, you know how much psychic would be, right? Like you go into a room and you were super happy just right before, and you get into it and like sadness came to you. I'm like, what's going on? Then probably the sadness is not even yours. It's in the room, or it's someone else's, or, you know, like you perceive what is around you. You perceive the earth around you. You perceive the people. In this moment of COVID-19, we have, how many times I've been like feeling like my body was like very tired, or I had the sense of sadness, or the sense of, oh my God, I will not have money anymore. And I'm like, okay, wait a second. The world is in a pandemic at the moment, and let's talk about that, because that will be another radio show. But it's really like the global mental situation. How is it, right? So that's it.
Right.
I'm actually going a little bit on large to get there.
Sure.
Being in creation, it's really the fact that you being willing to ask questions for every single choice. Don't know if you know about access consciousness. You are, you know, maybe it's your first time, or who is listening to this radio show. Access consciousness, one of the main tools is really being willing to be in the question. It's not being the question. See, it's not doing a question, right? If you
right.
Because being the question is not you're looking for an answer right away. And I get it, like you're looking for information, right? You're asking for information that will give you more awareness, right? Answer, like, we know the why. Answer is like having the why, and the why most of the time show you the rightness of your point of view to fight it against. I know it's like, it's very subtle, but if you look a little bit every time you have been looking to be right because you have the answer, that's what I thought, that's correct, that's my thing. Most of the time is to show that you are correct. But when you show that you are correct and you prove that you want to be correct, and that's your that's the main thing in your life, it's not freedom, because then you don't even see anyone else around you that might contribute, right? Sometimes, I know, women has all these rights, right? We know that. if a tree will fall in the middle of the forest, who is the fault? That's the man.
It's man, yeah.
So, like a personality, like, you know, we always like, of course, I told you that's what it is. Like, we have this tendency, women, to show that they are right, and what would it take, you know, to really be different. So I know what I mean very well. There is such a confidence on the rightness of the doing that it's like, I knew it. So in Access, it's really the fact that, okay, one of the main questions I ask every day, it's like, what if I was truly choosing for me, what would I choose right away? And that's why being in creation includes more of yourself. And doesn't mean that you are selfish and you think just about you exclude others. No, you include you first in your creation, in your life. How many times we do that? Really? We wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, wait a second, I have 10,000 Skypes or messages or email, people that are looking for me. I'm working for a worldwide company, so 24 hours people are awake. And lately I'm like, you know what? For the third 30 minutes, on the morning, I'm asking myself these questions. What would I, and embrace wherever I am in the world, like breathe and listen to the earth. Now I'm in Australia, the birds are so loud. I'm seeing the ocean now. I'm going for a little walk, and then I start. I just walk. So if you ask those questions, you include the being in your creation. It's a space. Like being doesn't really have. When you talk about being, it's like there is no result. So everywhere, in Access, a being as well, it's a little bit willing to be also out of control in your creation. So it's really all this undefined, but it's you. So I hope it helped, and we should.
No, that.
And if you do you know Dr. Dane here?
Yes.
There is an amazing. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We have a quick break, but we'll be right back. Joseph, stay on board. We'll come right back.
Great.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me the Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're here with Joseph Dukes and Francesca Fiorentini, and they were just having a conversation about being.
Yeah.
So, on that same, and thank you for. I mean that was amazing. That what you were sharing with me on that, Francesca. And where you were talking, about where I'm trying to get someone to see my point of view, it's not freedom because I can't see anybody else's. I can't see what anybody else is trying to contribute.
Yeah. It's fine. And also, you can see and more. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please. No. Continue on that because I've I know that there are times that I've tried to show someone my point of view, and and I realize now that I was being kind of a superior jerk because I was, instead of trying to ask somebody else, what they thought, I was trying to get them to see how right I was.
And it's amazing because we looking at things, and when they show up, and when we are willing to look at exactly, they're already changing. That's like, you, as a scientists say that when you look at the molecules, the molecule change. So that's amazing. But the rightness of your point of view, or the point of view, as you say, like, the fact that because when we desire to show the others that the point of view is right, that the point of view will great for them, that might be for them, might be for us, a superiority, whatever is the intention, there is no even space for us to ask, okay, does this person actually, what does this person require? Right? Because if you are a coacher, right, you coach people and you're a facilitator, and how many we are. And we are all facilitator on the one in the made on the other, I would say, even if we are not paid for that. But looking at, you see the possibility in someone else or in something else that could be created, right? Like there is a future that it's possible. Like also in a project that does involve just one person, then how many times might not be the time for that? Might not be the time for the person to actually receive it or to actualize a project. So that's the fact of you being connecting with you and keep asking questions. I'm like, is it now the time? What this person might require, what this person might want to hear from me. Because when you look at the rightness of the point of view, one other thing I noticed, how many people are splitting, are in these conflicts as well, all the time. I'm like, okay, guys, chill. What can we be here different? And I was so much. I didn't even realize how much I was in the rightness of the point of view. I thought it was awareness. I thought, no, I know things.
Right.
So it's also funny to see how, and it's not probably was for a good purpose or bad purpose. It doesn't really matter. But I realize myself too, and every time I see again myself in that, I want to show you this is right for me, for you, for the planet, for everything. That doesn't work. It's no more the space of freedom of being that we talk.
So is that asking? So if along that line, if I have an awareness, I just flashed to the conversation I had with the person I coach here earlier, and I could see 5 things that I know she couldn't see, and I felt like I was trying to catapult her, smash her against the wall of I know this is right. Why can't you get this? Is that in a situation like that, where where I could see that they couldn't receive what I was trying to get her to see, instead of, it is a possibility. I guess what's a possibility that I can do as a coach, as a friend, as a mentor, as a parent, because I know I run into this with my kids. You're a mom, so in a situation like that where your kids can't get what you're trying to feed them, they are not picking up what you're putting down.
It's also when you before even you start mentioning the kids, so also this person, right, came to you for a reason. You didn't find them in the supermarket, and you try to ask him questions and tell him, look, you should do this, you should do that. So she came. So this person made a choice already to change. Then it's I know it's frustrating and irritating when people don't get it. If I look at Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, the amount of time he had to repeat to people the same thing for years, and they didn't hear it. Me too, sometimes, oh Lord, I get it now. And I heard it tons of time. But then they get it when they get it, if they get it. But it's like if you are willing to be that energy of inspiring them to choose, but not forcing them. Because every time you have a point of view about what other people have to choose, include your kids, they will always choose it less. Always. Even it never happened, probably it's not just me and you and Venus, a lot of other people out, that when someone tells you what you have to do, you might do exactly the opposite. Because right? It's really like, yeah, sure, ciao, bye, I'm going.
Right.
And then, even if it was a great suggestion, even if it was something good for them, so we need to be willing also to be a little bit smart and manipulative with people in a way of what is required here. Shall I tell them? Shall I not? Is it the moment? How can this be received? Like giving them a little bit wedgie as well. With kids as well, and parents, and also clients and every way. Like we talked about point of view before, right? And the rightness. One of the amazing tools of Access Consciousness is really being the interesting point of view. That it's a little bit like, and not doing it, that's why we do, we talk about being. It's being the interesting point of view in all the situation. That's like being a rock on the river and everything came across you, but nothing really nothing really stick you. So it's also the fact of seeing anything around you, but almost with yourself too, because we have a lot of points of view about us. So basically every place that we judge ourselves, we stop us, right? So also it's very, very easy. Like we just need to say, okay, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Every time something comes up for you, and you don't have to say it aloud, you can just, do it on your mind. With kids, it's the same. She's 23 now, and I'm so grateful for her. And when I was seeing that she was choosing so little, I'm like, Jesus, why? You could have everything. You are stunning, beautiful, and smart, and everything you could. And then I'm like, she could not be more fucked up than what I was. And if she chooses it, it's her life. Because I look at myself when I was her age or before, like, as we mentioned, someone told me what to do. I was doing the opposite. So what can we be, how can we be in total interesting point of view and allowance for other people? There is no tolerance, because tolerance has a superiority on it. I'm like, oh, I'm tolerating you. Like, it's more like really embracing what they be without forcing it. And that actually creates much more, for me, like peace. And it's funny because when you get out of the rightness of your point of view, it's also, the help is like allowance gets in and you get out of the rightness. Like together they cannot really exist. It's like judgment and gratitude in a way. It's like when you have a judgment, when you have gratitude, you cannot have judgment.
You can't have judgment
at the same time. Because let's say my body is terrible, but then if you start asking how grateful you are for your body, what are the things you are grateful for, the judgment is no longer there, right? It's different shadows, but it's very similar. Like as an energetic thing, when a person, like you judge for a person for something, but then when you ask what I'm grateful for, it's like looking at the allowance you can have with this person, the gratitude cleans away like all the judgments. So it's really, I hope I try to give you. I'm very
Thank you.
energetic. No, I'm very energetic and give you the picture because So I hope it. Yeah.
I can see it. No, I totally pick it what you're talking about. So thank you.
It's a muscle, Joseph. It's really a muscle that you have to train yourself to. Yeah.
So I may not. It will. So just keep working on it. Is what you're saying.
I would say, as I said before, the magic recipes doesn't really exist. I mean, if you want to believe it, I try a lot, but even it's you. So it's you, like, and train yourself. Okay, interesting point of view. I have this point of view, or being like, and also wherever I make my choices and my points of view right here. In Access Consciousness, we use a clearing statement. If you want to check it out, it's www.clearistenset.com. when you brings up an energy, right? Of and then you want to change it. You want to dissolve a little bit. So everywhere you have been making yourself right, and like in all the places that you have been making yourself right, and also you gave the value of the rightness, the confidence of the rightness, that I am being me in the right. You know, you see yourself in the mirror and like, oh, that's me. Would you destroy and create all of that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, POC, POT, all nine, short, boys and beyonds. And there is nothing bad. Don't judge you, like it's fine. One of the things I love most of the time when I see my limitation, I laugh about it. I'm like, ha ha, I got you now. Because like when you see things, means that you are willing to change it. Yeah. When I changed my familiar abuse situation, I was with that man for 17 years. I wouldn't be able to see it before. So there is you know what I mean? Like there is a moment for everything. And also with our clients, with the kids. Yeah. And also being allowance just to make it, it's not being this, because also like allowance is also being this sort of a marshmallow, right? That Gary Douglas described like that you can put your finger on it and then retract that, take it off, and the marshmallow will come as it was, at the same form. But it doesn't mean to be a carpet that people can walk you over. Right. It's just a different space of view. It's not like becoming from superior to being like a little bit of like how you say submissive. The space of being you, submissive. Thank you. The space of being you doesn't really require to compare yourself with others, or to show others that you are right, or it's just you be there, and people will notice. That's the point, because you be you. It's such a different energy than anything else around that people will notice. But if you don't care, if they do, they might do it faster. Yeah, it's true.
Maybe.
Maybe. We don't promise. We don't have correct recipes here. You are so welcome.
Thank you, Francesca. I'm so grateful.
Great. Well, we're going to take another short break. We'll be back in just a minute.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
I'm Kathy Williams, host of Sexy Mom Abundant Life radio show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. On the show, we explore living abundantly in every area of your life. Ways to let go of limiting patterns and beliefs and to step into the flow of creativity and possibility, knowing you are supported by the universe.
Is it time to create a different and greater world? Through research, we can explore paths to new and exciting possibilities. The Hope Foundation for Possibilities and Change is a research-based, not-for-profit organization dedicated to exploring, discovering, and creating a different future for all. Your donations make this happen. You can contribute at foundationforpossibilities.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm here with Francesca. And what a great conversation. Hi. like just like that conversation about like being right and how what an invitation it is for us to let that go. And if we're let go of being right, we have this opportunity, this possibility of really being ourselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for that.
And I know it seems so different. No, thank you. I mean, it's really amazing. And also, like, this, when there was a break, I was like, this actually, it's called being with the earth, right? And the earth doesn't ask to be right? Like, if you look in the morning, like, you know, the flower blossom, and then they don't accuse others because they are not happy, or, you know, why you are there. That's my spot, go away. Like, it's just, there is this animals, like everything that is in the earth, like the earth is just be and change constantly. And so that's funny, because I'm like, we were supposed to talk about the earth, but we are the earth too, right? And then lately as well, like now that I'm here in Australia, because I chose to come here when there was the close down of Europe. It's such a different place. It's really a paradise. I mean, I chose a nice and amazing place to do my sparkly isolation, and so the earth here is so loud. You have the ocean, the birds, the plants, all the little animals, and the color of the skies and everything. And then on Earth Day, we went, that was on the 22nd of April, I think, me and Simone, we went to the national park, and it was my first time. So national park, to hiking a little bit, we saw, not giraffe, no, sorry. We saw turtles, dolphins, koala, iguana, so many other animals, and seems that we were in the National Geographic. But then for me was the first time ever that I could I was receiving from the earth in a different way, because like we think that we are a little bit disconnected, but actually our bodies have the same molecular structure of the earth too, right? So we come from that. So we always look at to put it a little bit there instead of being with the earth and listening to the earth. Even if you don't hear anything about it, like you don't hear any whisper, it's fine. You be it. Just asking, what would it take for me for me today to be with the earth? Totally. Doesn't have to have an answer. It's just really like inviting that amazingness that the earth can contribute to you. Like, and I was so strange, Venus, because I was walking and it was quite hot. I was perceiving the heat of the sun in such a different way in my skin. It was like this heat that was feeding my skin, was being nurturing my skin and contributing to my body. I'm like, whoa, I'm not crazy though. And I'm quite an energetic person, you know, but I recognized I wasn't willing to be connected with the earth as much. So it was really great. I love that.
That's beautiful. And do you think that maybe because everything has slowed down, like, you know, we're not traveling as much and stuff like that, that there's a even greater invitation for us to be with the earth right now?
I really say yes to, like, for me, jumping on a plane every 2 days, or, you know, and traveling so much and being home for 5 days and then travel and touring again, it was amazing. It's amazing. But I noticed that I wasn't being that, like the relaxation, like creation and relaxation. And I was a bit restricted, right, from my job, because then you don't have the time to stop. You don't have the time to acknowledge the earth. You don't have the time to see what's going on and ask more questions for yourself. So this time has been amazing for me and for many other people. But that's true. That's it. The earth is breathing. Like, having us like in total lockdown for the last 2 months or whatever there is, a little bit less, if that was been created in the earth, I'm like, whoa, that's a big thing. There are so many other stuff that it's not very clear, we know, but that the earth is apparently happy. Seems that it's breathing, right? In Venice yesterday, where I come, they say, I saw a picture, Cavalluccio, Marina, I don't know how you say it. Anyway, there was a little creature in that usually it's in the deepest of the sea. So like
the
in the
jellyfish?
Canal of Venice.
Mm-hmm.
No, jellyfish. Anyway, I will find it. But it's also how much people are now receiving a seahorse.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, it was and that was not a fake picture, it was a real picture, because they say that in Venice there are dolphins in the canal. They are not. That's a fake news. But it's also how much people are looking at and acknowledging the earth in a different way now that they have more time.
Right.
For me, it's really this moment of standby that sorry, I interrupt you.
No, it's wonderful. And I think it's great because we can all kind of perceive that since we've all been forced to slow down. I think what I would love for you to touch on is how can we keep, like you said, the connection with the earth and the consciousness and maybe awareness of the earth as we start to even come out of this sparkling isolation quarantine thing.
Yeah. Well, I might not have the right answer in a way because we don't know. Like one of the things I know is that we are not going back. There is nothing that we will get back to because the world changed. We changed. So we will move forward, right? And for me, I will look at, okay, how can I every day acknowledge the earth and maybe make my choices? We talk about benevolent capitalism, right? It's like that's the way that your choices, your choice that you make today will have an effect in 10 years, in 100 years as well. So what if we are willing to have that present, and every choice you make, like be connecting with the earth and the future, because if the world will have more conscious people asking this question, we will probably not have all the problems that we had. One of the things we know that with this slowdown, it's the earth now, the end, the time of not return of the earth that we say was in 10 years, now extended. So I'm like, oh, so it means that something else is possible. Because the earth will always live. We might not be able to live in this earth if we destroy it. But the earth has billions and billions of years. It doesn't care. Like a couple of decades or a couple of 100 years is nothing, right, for the earth. So that's one of the questions I will ask, and I will, like, okay, how can I acknowledge the earth every day and really like how my choice will impact? What can I create? Because also, when you invite more conscious in your work, it's really that you get those whispers. You don't have to fight. You don't have to do anything. You will get those whispers of what will create the most for you, the earth, people, the planet. You will know, because that's your request. When you make a demand in your life, that's what will come up as well. So, and what would it take for the governments, to have, to choose different from now on to in the future as well? That's what we'll see. It's such a very big topic too.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Well, and you touched on it too, because you're like, well, you talked about what you would do, and I guess that's probably a great question we can even pose to our listeners today is like, what would you like to do? How would you like to continue being with the earth as we move forward, and regardless of what changes, or if we start flying again or whatever? Like, and I loved what you said too. You said, I'm going to ask how this choice will impact, because it really does invite us to go, okay, why don't we stop and ask about our choices first, instead of just blindly going, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to get super busy to distraction, and I'm going to, whatever, and go unconscious again. Instead of, can you take what you've gained from this time of pause and move forward with that?
Yeah.
So
and I want to also suggest, there is this, but it's really like, because we think that one person cannot change the world. You can. So that's you are the change. All of us are, in different ways. So, I mean, because if everyone will think about one person, well, no, it's not enough to change. There will be no one. But 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, right? So we became like a big group of people. And also want to suggest, like, there is this, they've been offering this monthly call, Gary Douglas, Dr. Dan here, Simone Milas, Brandon Watt, and Shannon O'Hara. It's a monthly call called Creating with the Earth. And I just want to say, if you're interested in this topic, and the last call was amazing, it's really like, because we don't know. It's always like being the question, like we don't know what it means. Like we do, but it's not that we have answers for everything. So creating with the earth is really like creating a different awareness, a global awareness, a global connection with the earth and what else is possible. And if you're interested, it's just in the Access Consciousness website / creating with the earth. And it goes to Action for Future too. So it's really like this not-profit. It's not profit. It's not a fund. Yeah, that actually is collecting money to create something different in the future that might be paid. Like maybe buy a part of the Amazon forest instead of selling it to industrial people, or have the financial capacity to make a difference in the planet. So that's amazing. Anyway, this is very short, and I don't. But if you're interested, please check it out. Action for Future. It's very amazing. I got so much more awarenesses about it, about what the planet is and what can we be with the planet, and yeah, it's cool, and it's even more fun, really. Anyway.
Well, yeah, and it invites us to say, okay, we can take actions to create the future that we truly desire, instead of being in reaction to things happening.
Yeah.
It's like, what can we choose today? It's beautiful. Yeah, I'm on both of those. I highly recommend them. And we'll place the links in this page, so that if you guys like to find out more information, you can click on those links and check it out. So, Francesca, how can people find you? I mean, you did an amazing facilitation for Joseph Dukes today, so there might be other people out there that are like...
I never met Joseph, but my website is www.Fiorentini, because it's in production. Let me. Oh, I think yes, it's Francesca Fiorentini.com, or in the Access Consciousness website too. They find me, but my website is www.francesca/fiorentini.com. Yeah, and it's really in production now, so I have a lot of things going on, and yeah, it's also. What can we really be like? What if we really can change anything in our life and create greater? That's what if? And I know we have been hearing this for so many times, but I love when Gary say, what if the purpose of life is having fun? Because the planet requires more joy. It doesn't really require people being sad. And if you invite more joy and fun in your life becomes greater. More money show up, and yeah, I mean, you will be more beautiful, your body will be happier. So there is all the things. So one of the things as well, I was looking in this moment of life, my family is in Italy, and they are it's a very restrict moment, okay, and also economically too, it's been quite intense. And I bought this bike, this ride bike here in Australia. And when I was a kid, I loved biking so much. And then I never had another bike since I was 10 years old. So I bought this red bike, my helmet and everything, and they took a picture of me, and I was so happy. And I couldn't actually post it anyway. I couldn't post it in Instagram because I'm like, oh Lord, if I'm showing to my family or the other people around the world like that I'm very happy in this moment, that doesn't work. I'm like, wait. And then I love it because it wasn't light for me. It was very contractive. I was like trying to be right in something. Anyway, I posted and everyone was happy.
And everybody's happy
so
for
you're
you.
Allowed
That's
to
so
be,
cool.
Yeah, you're allowed to be happy even in this moment. That's the point. That's what I want to say. Thank you, Venus.
Wonderful. Thank you, Francesca. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Ciao. Bye.